This is the Field Museum right here in Chicago. They have about 10,000 Philippine artifacts, and we got a chance to take a sneak peek at some of them.
This storage area of Philippine artifacts consists of mostly Cordilleran or the northern islands, and the southern islands. These are spirit houses, which usually are placed in front of the house. And there's a door to that, so the spirits go in.
Lonnie Chan has worked as a community co-curator with Chicago's Field Museum for 5 years. She's retired, and much of what she does now is on a volunteer basis, since funding has dwindled.
This one is from the southern part.
She curates to give back to the community. That includes organizing and identifying artifacts, bringing meaning to each one.
This is 1944, of course, but knives are really part of the outfit of a Filipino. You rarely see a Filipino before without knives because they use it for harvest, for everyday work.
Is it a bolo?
Yeah, this is a regular knife. Being a Filipino American living here in Chicago, it's about time that we kind of flaunt our artifacts, you know, because I mean the young people is for the next generation.
Some museum visitors may not know that underneath them are rows and rows of Filipino artifacts, 10,000 objects. 75% of them were collected by the Field Museum anthropologists more than 100 years ago, when the Philippines was a U.S. colony. Jamie Kelly heads the anthropological collections at the Field Museum.
You never know with museums like the Field Museum how, things could have been obtained illegally or not, but especially really old collections like this. But from the documentation that we have, it shows that they're appear to be acquired legally at that time.
Kelly acknowledges that there are colonial narratives in acquiring and telling stories of Filipino tribes in the past. For example, the majority of the collection is from native tribal communities from remote locations. It completely ignores other Filipino communities from other regions, perhaps to exoticize its people.
In the past, we didn't do a great job, and that was part of just sort of a colonial way of doing things. But we realized that there are other experts out there, and that includes the communities, the source communities, and the descendant communities who are out there. So it's for them to reclaim their narrative of their heritage.
Philippine culture and traditions are very much alive in Chicago. Ruben Salazar is the co-president of Chicago's Filipino-American National Historical Society. The organization hosts various Filipino-American events throughout the year.
This collection that's in the Field Museum are all representative of indigenous tribes, and those are the places that very many of us have not seen or have not known, and we're not taught in school. So this is our way of learning how our brothers and sisters from other parts of the country live.
Thanks to an anonymous donation, 80% of the 10,000 objects have been electronically digitized and are now accessible through an online portal. This allows others to contribute their knowledge about a specific object, which the museum can then verify. The museum houses one of the largest collections of Philippine artifacts in the U.S., and it's expanding. It's currently working alongside co-curators like Chan on anthropological exhibitions in the Philippines. This allows the museum to connect with the communities there, as well as find new information, artifacts, and stories to share for generations to come.
It's going back to the roots for the young people, and that's what I think is important for me, for the young people to know their roots and their heritage.